this is it. This is the creation of a new identity.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest part about this whole thing is like letting go of this old version of us.
And I love being a mom and I love staying home with the kids, but I also do want to have this like my own identity outside of being a mom.
I want you to have purpose outside of our marriage and being a mom too. Because it will drive you and it will force you to grow. Welcome back to the Late Night Date Night podcast, where we talk about everything that I'm building in my business, while at the same time, Lizzie being an amazing stay-at-home mom, taking care of our two little boys, Luca and Enzo. In case you're wondering what this little thing on my forehead is, Lizzie and I hired a nutrition coach and a fitness coach. She has one and I have one, and Lizzie was getting a little hangry, stabbed me in the head with a sweet potato. She said she couldn't take eating rice anymore. Yeah. So in her hangriness, she grabbed the sweet potato and was like, ah!
Totally.
No.
That's exactly what happened.
No, I was working out this morning and at the gym, I wasn't paying attention and reached down to change the weight on the machine, didn't see the handle holder and decked myself in the face. So that's where we're at this morning.
Looks like it hurt.
It didn't feel good. It didn't feel good, but it's the price to pay to go to, to get in shape, to go to New Jack City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite was when I came home from the gym this morning, you had a Mickey Band-Aid on your forehead.
I'm just trying to appease to my son, Luca. He liked it. He's like, Dad needs Band-Aid. So I threw the Band-Aid on and he was just like very happy about that.
I bet he loved it.
Yeah. What's been great about this like fitness journey is two of my things. One thing that I love and one thing that I don't like. The thing that I don't like is on Tuesdays, we have to take photos of one another and submit them to our coaches. And the reason I don't like it is because when you have me take photos of you in your underwear, I get kind of turned on and then I have to go back to work. So I don't like it. So I got a little bone to pick with my coach Carter about that, about me being involved in taking the photos. But the thing I do love, right? The thing I actually love is just the fact that you and I have been on this journey together.
Yeah.
And what I've watched in you over the last I would say probably a few weeks, is it feels like there's this piece of Lizzie, this identity that's coming back. Like, because you were a professional dancer and you've always been in shape, and now like just watching you, like just get in shape and like starting to feel yourself again, like there's this piece of Lizzie that's coming back to life.
Yeah.
What does that feel like for you, knowing that she's here?
Yeah. It's been really nice just to be able to focus on myself this year a little bit more. I, have been pregnant or nursing for the last 3.5 years. And now I have the ability to work on my fitness and kind of build the body that I want to create and the physique that I want. And so it's been really empowering to just have a plan, both in my workout routines and my nutrition plan that I know is going to be supporting my goals. And so it just makes it a lot easier to kind of stay on track and just know what I need to do every single day and then just work towards that goal for myself.
Yeah. The one thing that you told me is that you wanted a juicy ass. That's what you told me. I want a dump truck. Yeah. And I was like, oh, fine. Twist my arm. If that's what you want, I guess I'll settle for it.
Yeah.
But you've been in this place of just I feel like you went from kind of wandering, not knowing who you are, to finding this version of you. But for a long time, it felt like you were lost. Especially after, I don't know if it was an identity crisis or what it was. Talk to me. What was that like?
Yeah.
And when did it happen?
I think it kind of happened at the beginning of our relationship, when we first got together. And I think we might have been in this kind of similar boats, actually. So we were working at this digital media company together, and I was still dancing for the Broncos. At that point, I had been dancing professionally for 7 years. And so that was my life. And then I made the decision that my heart was no longer in it. We went to the Super Bowl in 2015. I had got a Super Bowl ring. How much better can it get? And so I decided to hang up my chops and move on. And when you go from that dance and everything Broncos, from the appearances in the community, working out to stay fit and maintain your look, and you're hanging out with these amazing women all the time, to no longer having any of that, I think I found myself in a little bit of an identity crisis where I didn't know kind of what to do with my time. So my time kind of just became like work. And then we started dating and hanging out a little bit more. So then I was kind of like spending all my time with you. And I think I kind of lost myself where I thought that like all these beliefs that I didn't even know existed within myself, where I felt like I had to kind of conform to whatever you wanted. Instead of like being confident enough to stand in my own power and have my own sort of life and identity.
Do you think I pushed that on you? Like I forced you to conform to what I wanted?
No, I don't.
Then why did you do it?
I don't know. I think it was just probably some beliefs of what I thought a woman was supposed to do in a relationship. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't confident enough to just be myself at the time. So,
were you afraid that I wasn't going to like you?
Yeah, maybe. I thought maybe you weren't going to like me, or I wasn't going to be the girl that you thought I was.
Well, that you weren't.
But at the same time, I was like trying to find myself as well and figure out like what I wanted to do outside of dance.
But for the record, you are not what I thought you were going to be like.
What does that mean?
I thought you were going to be like this prissy, uptight dancer girl.
Yeah.
And what you ended up being was like this adventurous, free-flowing, like rule-following woman. And it was beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even realize that you had gone through this identity crisis. Like I knew it was going to happen after dance because when I got out of the military, I felt a similar like, well, who am I? I've been in the military for 11 years. That's all I've known is putting on the uniform, shaving my face every day, and doing the work in the military. Mm-hmm. And so like watching you go through that, I was like, I knew you were going to struggle.
Yeah. But
the one identity that I think has been interesting for me to watch in you is this identity of perfection. Mm-hmm. You think you have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Why?
It's the standards and expectations that I have for myself to be able to put the best of the best out there. And it only ends up like hurting myself.
How does it hurt you?
Well, because I'm trying to get to this perfect standard, and instead of like embracing the journey along the way, I'm constantly judging myself for not being at that standard that I set. So it's
does that get tired?
It's exhausting.
I was going to ask, I was like, is that exhausting?
Yeah, it's exhausting. Do you have any like high expectations and high standards for yourself?
The name of my company is I Am the Standard.
I know, that's
right.
What I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's nice segue. Good job. Yeah, of course. And I've held myself to some standards that are unattainable. On my medicine journey, which we talked about 2 episodes ago, it was one of those things where there's standards that you can hold yourself to and be amazing and be great, be elite. And then there's standards of perfection that will always hinder your growth.
Right. Yeah.
And so this identity that you're in, because perfectionism seems to be like the identity of a dancer. Yeah. You're judged on the way that you look, the way that you act, the way that you talk, the way that you dress. Mm-hmm. And then coming into this marriage, do you feel like there was this pressure to be perfect for me?
If anything, it was just the pressure that I put on myself to be this perfect woman for you and make sure that I bend over backwards for you and basically set aside my life for you. But it was just all beliefs that I had, I guess. And I was acting in that way.
Did you have resentment towards me because of that?
Yeah, I think it led to a lot of resentment in our marriage, especially early on. When we were working at the same company, and then you made the decision to pursue real estate full time. And then building your real estate business is very time consuming. You have to put a lot of hard work in on it, plus like nights and weekends. And so I think just like having you work so hard on something and then spend time away Whereas I was like on another agenda where I was like, well, hey, like I want to hang out with you because I want to hang out with you.
Because I'm awesome. Obviously.
Well,
I get that.
We had a lot of fun together.
Yeah. Do you think that, so me building the business and then you going through this new phase of life, this identity crisis, as you called it, me being away, was that just adding pressure onto you to figure out who you are? Because you're left by yourself.
Yeah. 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 I mean, we are totally opposites.
What do you mean?
In a lot of ways.
Okay, like what?
Like you're an extrovert, I'm an introvert. Like I'd rather have like a few close friends, whereas you have like a ton of friends. And I don't mind staying at home like on the weekends, and like resting or just having like a low key weekend. Whereas like you're like up at 3 a.m. or like 6 a.m., whatever time it was back then. I'm like out the door already. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm just the complete opposite.
Okay, hold on. There are so many times like where you say, can we just get out of the house? I'm sick of being in here. And then you say that. So which one is it?
Well, different weekends mean different things, but like.
And so we're similar in some ways.
But even this past weekend, like I didn't mind just hanging out at the house.
Yeah. I think, yeah, okay, that's fair. But you're in this place of just like you and I being different. Go back to that. Like you said, we were just so different. We were so different in the fact that like, you know, you're by yourself, hanging out by yourself because I'm working and building a business.
Yeah. So I guess like I didn't mind spending time alone at the house while you were out building your business. But then I think I also got to a point where I did need a little bit more balance and to hang out with some friends over the weekend. Or I had this expectation that like you existed to like entertain me because you always had the plan, which is completely unfair.
I felt that pressure so much. I felt the pressure to constantly be the one to make you happy, constantly be the one to make the plans. And that like there's so much guilt, like me being gone. I'm like, why can't she just go hang out with like her friends? Mm-hmm. It's like that I didn't want to hang out with you. I love hanging out with you. Even when you and I were struggling, like there was still like we had so much fun together. Like if we look back, it wasn't all just like knives to the throat. Right? We were having a good time. But the hard part for me was that there was nobody else. And it meant that I was everything. And if I was everything, the pressure of that as a husband is really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's an unfair expectation to put on you to have to entertain me as an adult at all times.
It sounds funny when you say it.
Well, yeah, it's definitely silly looking back, you know? And so, I don't know. I was just in this very challenging, I think, place where I just finished dancing for 7 years. And I also moved here to dance and because I got a job at the same time. And so my friends were dance. And I didn't really have a lot of friends outside of dance unless they were at work. And so I had to figure out like where to find other friends because a lot of my friends ended up staying on the team again. So they were busy with those activities and stuff. And so I don't know. It was just...
But there's another time.
It was messy.
There's another time too where you said you've gone through like, I don't know who I am anymore. It was after the boys were born.
Yeah.
That you echoed the same thing. Mm-hmm. What was that identity that you lost?
I think once you have kids, like this new identity is born. Like all of your priorities shift.
I want you to hear what you just said.
Yeah.
A new identity is born.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was lost.
No. Well, yeah. Well, yes. A new identity has been born after I have had kids or we have had kids. I just looked at it so much differently, I guess, once I stopped dancing. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
So what's this What's this identity that you're trying to build now? Because I don't know what it is that you're building. I have an idea, but it's yours. And I think identities are yours. Like my identity is like, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also a husband. I'm a father. I'm a brother. I'm a son. I'm a bro. I'm a friend. Right? And then you have these other things like I'm an athlete. Right? I have all of these different things that make up my identity. And even in uncovering more and more of who I am, like I know who I am. Do I know all of it? No. But I've established and I've planted a fucking flag on who I am. And you're like, you've been very, how do I want to say this? You've been very, I don't know, it feels like the word is attracted to it because I finally am just like, I'm all of me. I'm like truly all of me. And I'm watching you build this identity. Who are you trying to be? Like, who do you want to be? Like, what is this identity that you're trying to create?
Yeah. Well, I'm a mom. I like to work out and I'm interested in health and wellness. And
it's okay to not know. I think that's what a lot of people struggle with. The thing is, like, I'm 41 years old. How many years do I have on you? 6? Right?
Like
In my 30s, it was like, that was one of the biggest things is like, I didn't fully know who I was. And I talked to my buddy Forrest and he was like, when you turn 40, there's this thing, it feels like this moment where like, if you've done the work on yourself, what you're doing, you step into this thing where you just like, you truly know, and you stop giving a fuck about other people, what other people think about you. And I coach so many dudes who have no idea who they are in their 50s, 60s. And their wives also don't know who they are because they're trying to all figure it out. And so as you say that and you pause and you're like, I can see like I don't know if it's frustration or emotion build. Like, what is that?
I like to dance.
What was the emotion? What was the emotion that came up?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just frustrated.
What are you frustrated with?
Because I feel like I have this deep knowing of like, I know who I am. And so why don't I just own it?
Tell me more about that.
Well, why is it perceived as like, I don't know who I am? But then at the same time, like, who gives a fuck what you think? Because it's who I am is who I am. I just need to own it.
I never said that. I don't think you know who you are. What I said is I'm watching you figure out pieces of you that you truly love.
Yeah.
The ones that you've told me. And accepting that. And then not giving a fuck about what other people think. So just to be clear here, you already know who you are. This isn't about you not knowing who you are. It's you allowing her to come out, right? What was that Beyonce song you put on the other day? Flawless. It's allowing your version of that to come out, your version of your Taylor Swift era to come out, you to come out. This isn't about you not knowing. This is about you just like accepting it and letting her out. So coming back to
But why do you feel like I haven't let it come out?
Because you told me. You told that to me.
I'm working on it.
Oh, it's beautiful. And I am team Lizzie 100%. Because I know that this piece is like, it's so uncomfortable. And it's the one thing that you and I have continued to say is like, we're not broken. We're not lost. We're exploring the outer boundaries of who we are. And in that place, it feels uncomfortable. So I don't think that you're not you, but I also see you play it really safe a lot of times. And I always just wonder why you don't allow the world to see all of you, the woman that I see in here dancing and like popping her hips at the same time, like cooking, same time, like really weird and funny. And then there's this version of you that you demonstrate. And I'm just wondering why you don't allow people to see all of it. Why is it scary?
I don't know. It's scary to be judged. But
I mean, you read the comments. People in the last one called you a gaslighter.
I'm sure they will again.
And people said that I was what is it? Toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
So people are going to judge us either way. Like what is this judge? Because listen, I get it. Being judged it's in the beginning, you're like, I just want to be liked, man. I don't want to deal with this shit.
Yeah.
What is it?
It doesn't, I don't know. I think it just comes from the way I grew up and like in dance, like everything is judged.
Yeah.
You're judged on your appearance, your body, how you dance, how you fit in with the rest of the team, how
Conform,
you show up
conform.
and at appearances, and like it's all totally needed, but to be able to like let go and embrace yourself fully once you've left up that world is just, it's hard because then people see all of you.
Yeah. So that level of perfectionism in that world, right? How did that benefit you and serve Lizzie? Like, what did that do for you positively?
I got to travel the world. I got to go to the Super Bowl. Really cool opportunities.
You danced at the Super Bowl, and you still won't let me wear the Super Bowl ring. And
Absolutely not.
And I thought the Super Bowl ring was your ring finger, and then I bought a wedding ring or an engagement ring on that, and then we almost broke up because of that. The Super Bowl thing has kind of been fucking up the whole game. Yeah, go Broncos. Yeah, it gave you all of these opportunities, massive opportunities. Did it bring you here to Colorado?
Yeah.
And coming to Colorado, did that allow you to do some cool stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Allow us to meet?
I met you. We had babies.
Beautiful babies. And so this part of you, this perfectionism piece, it was a gift and it served you. I had a coach that told me, Tim Adams, he's one of the few coaches that I've hired that you're like, I love Tim. You're like, fuck Garrett. And you're like, fuck Kevin. I don't like these guys. And then somewhere along the way, you're like, I like these guys. It just takes a little bit. But Tim, right out the gate, you're like, I love Tim Adams. And Tim said this to me one time. He goes, what got you here won't get you to where you want to go. And I think a lot of people are like, well, we got to kill off these old versions of us. Ego death, which is fucking stupid. And in doing that, I feel like when we look at that version of us, this perfectionism, Lizzie, and we don't like honor her for what she did, because she did some cool shit. If we don't honor that, then we like put her in like a corner and we're like, no, you're not good enough because you're not perfect. Hey, perfect Lizzie, you're not perfect enough. Yet she did all these cool things. So I guess my question is like, how can you appreciate her and take the things that are still going to work from her and bring it into this new life, yet create this new identity that allows you to step into this next era of Lizzie?
Yeah. I mean, I think I just need to do it.
What does that look like,
To
though?
put myself out there, which I have been in the capacity that I have the time to do so. And
but right there, you're judging yourself on how much time you have. You're doing an amazing job. It's okay. I'm not judging you. I know it's hard.
No.
Anyway, continue.
It's just, I don't know.
What would it look like? This is it. I know this is a great stuff. Hi, I'm Sergio and Lizzie, and we're having a real conversation right now. Like this is part of it. You're crying on the camera for the 17th time this year.
Yeah.
Right?
Welcome to the podcast where Lizzie cries every single episode.
And Sergio just it's like putting a baby in a corner.
Yeah.
But like for real though, like what is it for you to create this new identity for Lizzie? What would she look like?
She's confident. She is a mother that spends time with her kids and has like this community of other moms that kind of have similar values, and we hang out together maybe once a week. We have a solid relationship, obviously.
Thank you for including me in this.
But then I also have like this other. Why am I crying?
It's okay.
You hate that I'm crying every single fucking episode. It's so stupid.
It's not. Let it out. This is part of the journey.
The only person that I feel like not good enough for is myself. I have to like work on obviously my self-worth and my self-love and accepting all of me and every single fucking podcast that I cry on.
How can you accept this version of you? Because here's what I want to tell you. There's things that I've done in my past that I regret. The way I treated women, the women I slept with, how I hurt people, how I hurt friendships, the way that I showed up when I was drinking and doing drugs, how I manipulated situations. Like there's things that about the old version of me that I'm just like, what the fuck? And there's conversations that you have shared with me about things that have made you uncomfortable about your past. And what I've come to realize is that like that guy had to exist for me to get to this current level of where I'm at. without him, I would have never have known me. And so the place you're going through is like, you've left this old version of you and you haven't fully stepped into this new version of you. And so you're walking through this desert, and the desert feels lonely as fuck, because in the desert, you don't have your old friends don't make a whole lot of sense. It's not that they're bad people, you've just changed. And you don't have the new friends yet, so you feel alone. And in the middle, you're like, I feel lost. Like, what the fuck? I just want to go back to this old way, except the old way won't work. Mm-hmm. And so when I ask you, who is this new version of you, right? It's the same question somebody asked me, like, who is this next version of Sergio? Being able to get clear on what you want is the first piece. Mm-hmm. And so when I ask you, who is this Lizzie, this new identity, this new era, all of that's great that you have this vision, because I know it seems clear, but what does she have to do to step into her? Like, what are the actions, specific actions that you would have to take in order to make her come to life?
I just have to continue to try and put myself out there, and then also just, I feel like I just have to accept some of, the invitations that people put out there, as let's do a play date, or come to this thing, or let's do this, but then also put myself out there and be willing to get uncomfortable, asking someone that might feel right, that maybe has similar values, or kids around the same age, where our kids kind of get along with them, to be able to see if that's a relationship worth pursuing or nurturing.
Yeah. So you're putting yourself out there, both just on the internet, like you have been, reaching out to new friends. You're mm-hmm. building this body, right? You're obviously stepping into this amazing mother. Our relationship is growing, right? We have hard conversations. We're going to have a hard conversation after this one about something that happened earlier. Mm-hmm. And this is it. This is the creation of a new identity. Mm-hmm. The hardest part about this whole thing is letting go of this old version of us, because that's all we've known.
Yeah. And stepping into the unknown, but then also being confident enough to walk that path.
Yeah.
And leave the old path behind.
Yeah. Because
I think for me, you just fear what other people are going to think, or what your family or friends are going to think. But at the end of the day, everyone's going to have some sort of feeling. It doesn't really matter.
Dude, Kid Cudi's got that song that says, people are going to judge you anyway, so fuck them. And it's real. Mm-hmm. There's this Bible verse that I read this morning that talks about that God doesn't give us fear. God's work is, power, love, and discipline. So when we have this fear about something, that's us. Mm-hmm. That's not him. But when we feel like we're in power, and we feel like we have love, and we feel like we have discipline, that's a gift from him. And so I think it's just being disciplined in self-love, being disciplined in taking the next actions, and knowing that doing those two things, love for yourself and disciplined in your actions, will create the most powerful version of Lizzie. Because here's what I want you to realize is you don't have to become anything. Mm-hmm. She's already in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
She somewhere, she's in there. And all you have to do is go fucking find her. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah. I just need to let go and let it out.
Let go. It's the same phrase that keeps coming up.
Yep.
Let go. Mm-hmm. Let go. Let go.
Mm-hmm. And I'm reading Mel Robbins' book right now about the let them theory. I'm let them judge you. It's my responsibility to figure out how I respond. So
there's best friends who talk shit out of love, right? Because that's how guys talk. Mm-hmm. And then there's some of my friends who are talking shit because they think that what I'm doing is cringy as fuck and they don't like it, and that me speaking my truth is making them uncomfortable. I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. If that's how they feel, they can go fuck themselves. I do not need them in my life. I don't. Mm-hmm. And it took me so long to get there. Would it hurt? Yeah. Does it hurt when they say that shit? Yes. Yet I know what my purpose is.
Right.
And here's the last thing that I'm just my observation. You take this however you want. All of this will go away the moment you figure out what your purpose is. Because you will stop tolerating shit. You will stop tolerating people. You'll stop tolerating behaviors. And you will simply be focused on whatever your purpose is. And that might be baking cakes. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Just I think part of the journey in putting yourself out there is to figure out what that is, like what you enjoy doing and what you want to make part of like your identity. Because I'm a mom, and I love being a mom and I love staying home with the kids, but I also do want to have this like my own identity outside of being a mom.
I want you to have purpose outside of our marriage and being a mom too. Because it will drive you and it will force you to grow.
Yeah.
And that growth then forces us to grow. And I think it's great. If it's just marriage and it's just the kids, that's like dads who are like, my favorite, like the only thing that I do for fun is hang out with my wife and kids. I'm like, your wife fucking hates you, right? She needs you to go hang out with your friends. What is the one thing that you told me? What happens when I hang out with my friends?
You are just a different person. Like you're happier and
how does that impact our marriage?
we're happier.
100%. And that's from a purpose place.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing that I want you to see is that you've watched me go through an identity change. Would you agree?
Yeah.
What have you noticed? From the bad shit and the good shit. What have you noticed? Also, P.S., I hate drinking out of a straw on camera. I feel like I just look so weird drinking out of a straw. I feel like a girl. What have you seen?
I think you've kind of changed your identity a couple times throughout our relationship where you started with, this person, like when I met you, this guy that we worked at the same company and you love to be outdoors and hang out with your friends on weekends, to kind of like pivoting into this real entrepreneur that is super driven and disciplined and like dedicated to excelling at your craft, whether that be starting in real estate and then making the pivot to like coaching real estate, and then into what you're doing now with coaching business entrepreneurs and coaching married men with kids. And I think your identity has even shifted like more dramatically within the last year as you are part of like the Warrior program and traveling out there like twice a month to this man that just takes full ownership of his life and how he's going to live it and show up in it. And so.
And I want you to understand that the identity that I built in real estate, hard charging, go getter, do whatever, success, sacrifice, whatever it takes to get whatever I want. That identity, did it get us some amazing stuff?
It did, yes.
Did it also bring a lot of pain?
Yeah.
Will that identity serve us moving forward?
To a certain extent.
Part of
you
it.
You can't be that again without burning out again like you did.
Not even burning out. I'll ruin the marriage. The boys won't have a dad.
Yeah.
I'll just be the dad that they wish would have been around. So I want you to just see from my perspective, I recognize that the discipline and the work and the perseverance and all of the things and the drivenness, that identity is powerful.
Right.
But if I lose this other piece of me, the guy that is happy, the guy that does things to make him feel like alive, the guy that hangs out with his wife and goes on date nights, the guy that, drinks 100 beers in 3 hours with his friends twice a year because he's just like, let's party. But then he never parties ever again after that. If I don't become all of me, right? None of this is going to work. This is why I'm building my business around two things. One, it's going to support my marriage and make us have a better marriage. Two, it's going to make me the best father possible. And if it supports those two things, everything else will take care of itself. And that's my new identity.
Right.
I am the standard as a man. I am the standard as a husband. I am the standard as a father. And I am the fucking standard as an entrepreneur. And so that is my identity, which means I'm going to raise it all. And I'm going to be the best man that I could possibly be, and identifying what that means. And then I just take actions in accordance with that. But do you have any idea how painful it was to let go of this thing that God is everything?
Yeah.
To go after something that Hasn't even fully fucking worked yet. Yeah, I know that we're on the path to building the first 8-figure business that we'll ever have.
Yeah. How does it feel?
If you can't tell in the tonality of my voice, I'm fucking stoked. And I'm excited because I get to do it in a way that I get to love on you and date on you and hang out with you, be a present father, and just fucking rip shit in life. Be a bro, snowboard, have fun, hang out with my friends, do all of that fun stuff, and have it all. And be fucking ripped at 41 years old.
Yeah. It sounds like you're breaking down some of these ideas that you have to be totally invested at all times in order to grow your business and kind of make those sacrifices.
Dude, I'm telling you, the biggest thing, if I could go back and give myself one piece of advice when I was in real estate, keep doing the things that make you happy. Because when you do the things that make you happy and feel alive, you become magnetic. And when you're magnetic, people want to work with you.
Yeah.
And your wife will not be she'll be on your side. And I lost it. The last 3 years, I fucking lost it. I got solely focused on being #1 in the brokerage because I wanted the attention. Right. And in doing that, that's when things started to pivot and go the wrong way. And I've recognized that, and I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. How did it feel when you got to the top? Was
empty.
Yeah.
There was a moment on stage where I got the award, and then it was empty.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, even when you get the award or you make the money or you get whatever the fuck it is, you have to come home and you still have to look at the guy in the mirror. And I wasn't proud of the way that I went about it to get what I got. And it was, I'll never forget that feeling, thinking it was just going to be everything, and it was nothing.
Yeah.
For a night at a party, people were like, good job. And then the next day it was over.
Right.
And what I was left with was a guy that I didn't fucking like.
Yeah.
And so now I'm going to build a man that I love. I'm going to build a life that I love. And I'm fucking mark my words. You will watch this be the biggest thing I've ever done in my life. Because I will have done it with you as my teammate, not you as a fucking anchor. And that's why you knowing who your identity is and you having a purpose that's forcing you to rise is the only way this thing works.
Yeah. There's definitely like a huge difference in how you're building this business compared to the real estate business. And I think that's really admirable to be able to have more of a balance, it sounds like, than just being solely focused on your real estate business and going all in on that.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, the thing is, I tell you, the one of the identities that I had to break was I was a fucking money whore. I was just doing things for the sake of making money because I wanted money.
Yeah.
I love money more than I love my marriage. That was fucking evident at the end of real estate. And man, that's a tough spot to be, because that's not the case. And my actions or my words said that my wife and my family are the most important thing in the world. And then my actions told a complete fucking different story.
Yeah.
And I was out of alignment, and that shit is not happening again. So yeah, it was hard to let that identity go because I thought I would lose my drive.
Yeah.
But then I realized that everything I built in real estate was out of me trying to prove a point, trying to prove myself. And now I have nothing to prove. I'm just going to be me. And you can either love me or hate me. I don't fucking care.
Words that we all need to live by.
Yeah. I'm proud of you for this.
Proud of you.
Dude, just like coming on here and just, I'll tell you what, here's what I love about Lizzie is you all don't get this. You're going to see her. You should go follow her at Lizzie Ray. You're going to see all of her because as this woman grows, it's so fun to watch. The dance parties that we have, the vacations we get to go on, the experiences that we have, it's going to be amazing. And what I love about this too is like, I am the standard is, yeah. It's going to set the tone for marriages.
Yeah.
We are going to set the tone for marriages.
I hope so.
So listen, if you like this, share this with one of your friends who's a stay-at-home mom. Share this with one of your friends who's an entrepreneur. Come follow us on social media at Lizzie Ray, at Sergio Nazzaro. Leave a review or whatever else they tell you to do on this thing. And we'd much appreciate it. If it's a 5-star, leave a 5-star. If it's a 1-star, call us gaslighters and toxic masculinity and tell us how you really feel. But either way, leave us a review. It would really help. Till next time.
Peace.
Peace.